This is my second video on gear train, and today we will discuss about simple gear train. Simple gear train. A simple gear train is a series of gears that is capable of receiving and transmitting motion from one gear to another is called a simple gear train, and there is only one gear on each shaft. In it, all the gears axes remain fixed relative to the frame, and each gear is on separate shaft. So as we can say, each shaft spot on one gear. So in simple gear train, we have a gear 1, this is gear 2, this is gear 3, gear 4 and gear 5. So here we have total number of gears 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here gear number 1, this is the driving gear, and gear number 5, this is the driven gear, and 2, 3 and 4 gears, these are the intermediate gears. So as we can say, when gear 1 starts to rotate in anti-clockwise direction, then it will rotate gear number 2 in clockwise direction, and it will transmit the motion towards gear 3, that is in anti-clockwise direction, and this gear 3, that is intermediate, transmit the motion to gear number 4, that will rotate in clockwise direction, and from gear 4 it will rotate gear number 5, that will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So here we can see how motion is transmitted from gear 1 to gear 5 with the help of the intermediate gears. So here there are some points need to be remembered in case of simple gear train. First one is, two external gear of a pair always move in opposite direction, and here all odd numbered gears move in one direction. As we can see, odd number gears 1, 3 and 5, these are rotating in anti-clockwise direction, and all even numbered gears in the opposite direction. So here 2 are the even number gears, 2 and 4, and both these gears, these are rotating in clockwise direction. So here we can say odd number gear have same direction and even number gear have the same direction. Speed ratio or velocity ratio, it is the ratio of the speed of the driving gear to that of the driven shaft, and it is negative. So what is the condition when this speed ratio is negative? This is negative when input and output gears rotate in opposite direction. So we get the negative speed ratio, and it becomes positive. So when input and output gear rotate in the same direction, so then we get the positive speed ratio. The reverse of the speed ratio or velocity ratio is called train value. So firstly we need to know what is train value, what is velocity ratio, as we discussed in previous video. So here I want to give a general brief here. Velocity ratio or speed ratio, it is basically defined as VR, that is equal to the speed of driver, that is divided by speed of the driven, and here speed of driver, that is denoted by N1, and speed of driven, that is denoted by N2. So ratio of N1 upon N2, that is the speed ratio or velocity ratio in gears. And in terms of number of teeth, product of number of teeth on driven gear, that is generally T2 if we have 2 gears, and product of number of teeth on driving gear, that is T1. So finally the ratio is T2 upon T1. So here we can say N1 upon N2, this is equal to T2 upon T1 in terms of velocity ratio or speed ratio. And another term, that is train value. So train value, this is the reciprocal of velocity ratio or speed ratio. So then we get, it can be written as train value, that is 1 upon VR. So this is the train value. So now we come back again on the simple gear train. So here we have 5 gears. 1 is driving gear, 5 is the driven gear, 2, 3, 4, these are the intermediate gears. So here we need to find out the speed ratio of simple gear train. So firstly we consider all the gears can be in straight line or arranged in a zigzag manner, or we can say these are constituted by spur or bevel gear. A simple gear train can also have bevel gear, or and it also has a spur gear. Now for calculating its speed ratio or velocity ratio, let T is the number of teeth on gear and N is the speed of gear in RPM. So here for gear 1, N1 is the speed and T1 is the number of teeth. For intermediate gear 2, N2 is the number of N2 is the speed of the gear 2 and T2 is the number of teeth on gear 2. Similarly for 3, that is N3 and T3, speed of gear and number of teeth on a gear. For gear 4 it becomes N4 and T4, and for 5 it is N5 and T5. N5, this is the speed of gear 5, and T5 number of teeth on a gear number 5. So these are the some notations, and by using these notation we find out the speed ratio or velocity ratio of simple gear train. So if we considering driving gear 1 is matched with the intermediate gear 2, therefore the speed ratio for these 2 gears, that is N1 upon N2, this is equal to T2 upon T1 in terms of number of teeth also. This is for 1 and 2, and similarly as 2 and 3, these are also matching with each other. So intermediate gear 2 is matching with the gear intermediate gear 3. So for these 2 gears the speed ratio is N2 upon N3 and T3 upon T2, and again 3 and 4 also matching with each other. So for the speed ratio N3 upon N4 and T4 upon T3. So finally 4 and 5 also matching, and for gear number 4 and 5 the speed ratio or velocity ratio, that is equal to N4 upon N5, and it is equal to T5 upon T4. So this is for all the gears which are matching with each other, and we need to find out the speed ratio or gear ratio for simple gear train for whole arrangement. And here we have 4 equation 1, 2, 3 and 4. The speed ratio of gear train is obtained by multiplying all the equation. Then we get N1 upon N2 into N2 upon N3 into N3 upon N4 into N4 upon N5. This is equal to T2 upon T1, T3 upon T2, T4 upon T3 and T5 upon T4. So here these are some common parameters we need to cancel out: N2, N2, N3, N3, N4 and 4. So here we get N1 upon N5, and on right hand side that we T2 and T2, T3, T3, T4, T4, these are the common factors and finally we get the speed ratio, that is n1 upon n5, and that is equal to t5 upon t1. So here we find the intermediate gears do not affect speed ratio, so these are called idler gears. So the purpose of idler gears are to connect gears when a large center distance is required and to control the direction of the gears. So today we have learnt about simple gear train and how to find out the speed ratio and what is the role of the intermediate gears and why these are called idler gears. In our next video we will discuss about compound gear train. Subscribe to get more video on mechanical engineering topics ANUNIVERSE 22. You may also like its Facebook page www.facebook.com ANUNIVERSE22. Share among your friends and students, also on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, etc. You can ask your queries by commenting. Give your suggestions if required. Thank you. Have a nice day.